my babies! I'm so excited to finally have this video up. I was meant to get it up last week, but you know, life happens. It's kind of hard being a freelance artist because so many jobs come up spontaneously and you have to focus on that. But here we are, we're here, it's finally up. I'm super excited. And we are doing a time lapse of this painting today. So this painting I started in March, like on and off. I've had a bit of trouble filming it just on a technical level, but also on an artistic level. I actually recorded this before my first YouTube video. So that's why at the beginning of it, the angles are just terrible. Like, why is this in such a strange angle right now? There we go, thank you. So with this piece, I was at a $2 store, and it's one that sells odd shaped canvases. So I found this heart shaped canvas and I was like, oh my god, where have you been all my life? The only problem with these canvases is that they have a terrible layer of gesso on the background. I already knew this, so I've already painted on something that's similar in texture, and you just have to put your own layer of gesso on it really, and the paint glides on it a lot better. It's quite important to have, you know, your foundations right, because then you just don't have to do so much effort once you're actually painting it. But because I was so into wanting to just get into it, I totally forgot to put a proper layer of gesso on, so it was hard starting out with this piece. It required a lot of layers. They kept on getting eaten by the canvas, which is really freaking frustrating, but you know, you just have to cake on a couple of layers and then it stops eating the paint. So it's finally done. The inspiration for this piece kind of came about purely based on the shape of the canvas. I wanted to do something like love themed, but like in a really corny way, and kind of like a sort of satirical way as well. So the inspiration for this piece, I would say, is from a character from Total Recall. I don't know if you remember the three-boobed character. I wanted to like kind of do an extended universe where I explore another character, but she would be similar, so another call girl on this planet, and what her print ad would look like. You know, I wanted it to look very Cronenberg body horror-ish. And I think she turned out really funny. She really makes me laugh. So I actually had a lot of problems with the background because I didn't prime it. Ugh, what a noob. So the paint just kept on slipping and sliding all over the place. So I'm thinking of adding a couple more colors to the piece because it's very pink at the moment and I really feel like it needs some other stuff. I'm putting some like yellow mushrooms here, but you know what? I have to put it in a bounce light and I love this color, so I think I'm gonna do that. We'll see. We shall see. So, spoiler alert, I put in a secondary light. Just, it makes the dark areas of the piece, it like really elevates them and gives so much more dimension once you add a secondary light. You can see and notice a lot of people adding secondary light because it does give your painting so much more, or it gives the illusion of shape, and yeah, you know, it's just a bit fuller and it looks really finished. I think the lumps really remind me of Garbage Pail Kids. The way it's painted is kind of painterly and not too realistic, which is definitely what I was going for. I wanted it to look semi-caricaturistic. So, you know, I put Garbage Pail Kids in my bio. That's how much of an inspiration that art is. You know, I'm trying to make work that is, yeah, just like a cartoon, but an elevated serious looking cartoon, you know? I did miss out on a little bit of painting in the hair. I edited it down a couple of bits because I thought it would just be way too long. But here you can see me adding the hair on the right side. I'm super happy with the way the hair on the left side came out. The thing with hair is the less effort you put into it, and if you just know the techniques properly, you can get it out a lot quicker and with little effort. You know, you don't want to overdo the hair. Hair has to kind of be in chunks, and then you add just a couple of details to make it look like realistic. If you add every single strand of hair, it just doesn't look right and it looks really overdone. So the less work you do on hair, the better. And my favorite parts, I love mushrooms. I mean, you can see mushrooms in my work quite a bit. I wanted to do mushrooms that looked very almost robotic, very alien-y. The shape of it reminds me of like movies that you would get out in the 70s, or like art that you would get from the 70s, like very restrictive. I didn't want them to look too organic. I wanted them to look like toys almost. So here I'm painting a lotus pod. I love lotus pods. I think they are so freaky. They're really disturbing, and I love whenever I show a lotus pod or even paint anything that resembles a lotus pod on a piece, it gets this really sick reaction from people that I don't know, that I love. I kind of sometimes feel that with my painting I'm trying to be a spook house, but through art. Or through a painting, you know, I want that sort of reaction of like, ugh, gross. Why did you do that? Oh, my skin's crawling a bit. Okay, so with the hands, man, hands are freaking hard, alright? Like, you have no idea how amateur I am with hands. So I modeled this after my own hand. The problem is that the lighting that I took the photo with is the wrong kind of lighting that is in this painting. So here you can see oops, it's gone. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have to talk quicker. I changed the direction of the lighting from the middle of the finger to the top of the finger, which matches the rest of the painting. But yeah, I mean, it turned out okay. I didn't record all of it because I do have a little bit of a fear of recording things when I don't know how to do it. You know, you can't tell when it's this fast, but when you're painting it, you're like, oh god, people are gonna see all my mistakes. I don't want anyone seeing anything that's not perfect. Yeah, I wanted this piece to be like quite gross but still appealing, so the colors are really nice to look at, but then your subject matter is like, oh my god, there are worms coming out of that lotus pond and she's eating the worms, you guys. And adding, there we go, those are the stunning little worms. Yeah, and you know, adding that secondary light again just gives a lot of dimension, and here I am adding some final bits. Oh man, that piece was done so quickly, 9 minutes. Hello. It only took me almost a month to paint. There we go. Well, I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's really funny. It makes me laugh. And that is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure you do all the YouTube things. Like it, share it, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time. I'm going to be making a lot more of these, so stay tuned. See ya!